One of my favorite TV programs of all time has to be the TV series Hannibal, starring Mads Mikkelsen, Hugh Dancy, and Lawrence Fishburne. If you love crime dramas, psychology, criminal profiling, it's the perfect show. I have to say, it's so well shot and captured on camera. A lot of these shots are like moving art. Even the most cringiest, bloodiest scene, there's a tasteful way with how they just make everything look beautiful, if that's okay to say. If you're not familiar with the character Hannibal Lecter, he's been captured so many times on screen before. It's actually a series of books, if you didn't know, by Thomas Harris, I believe. In the movies, I guess the interest has always been inferred and showed about Hannibal's love for food, but I think the TV series actually just does it justice. The time spent with Hannibal in the kitchen, of him, just cutting away and talking about the history of some of the obscure dishes he serves is educational. It's beautiful with the way it's been presented, and it's part of the reason why I just love the show as well. The food, the blood, excluding the cannibalism, it's the perfect show. And that's what has inspired me to start this series. I did some research, and it actually turns out that there is a cookbook, which I was so happy about. So imported it to my country. I think people know I'm filming from Dubai, but imported it into Dubai, and yeah, it's called Feeding Hannibal. It's well photographed, all the recipes that he's cooked and referenced in terms of what episode he cooked them in. It's a delight if you're a fan. I think if you're a fan with just cooking in general, there's so much history and I think technique as well that I'm looking to learn. So with that said, we are starting off today. I'll be making a chicken liver pate torchon served with sage plum berry sauce. Yes, and some toasted bread to go with that pate. So I'm looking forward to it, and let's get cooking. Okay, so I've got my frying pan here, which I'm going to switch on to a medium-low heat. And the first thing I'm going to do is add about 56 grams of my butter. So I just want this to melt a little bit before I add my chopped onions, which I've gone ahead and just prepared. So butter is melting nicely. What I just need to do now is add my onions, and I want to get this into a nice, slightly golden, translucent, transparent color. So my onions are nice and done, golden brown, translucent, as you can see. So what I need to do next is transfer it into a bowl. The idea is once we start to fry our chicken liver, we transfer each fried batch into the same bowl, let it cool, and then blitz with the remaining of our ingredients. I still have a little bit of butter, which I think is fine to reuse because we have a lot of that flavor from the onions. So I'm going to use this to fry my first batch of chicken liver. According to the recipe, I should actually do a quarter of pork liver and then the remaining as chicken liver. I can't get pork produce where I am, at least not liver. So I'm going to just use chicken liver for all our liver in the parfait. For the first batch, I've cut them into strips according to the recipe, so let's fry this. Okay, my butter is nice and hot. My pan is set to a medium-high heat. I'm adding my chicken liver now, and this should take about 3 minutes in total. Okay, the first batch of liver is nice and cooked. I am going to add that to our bowl with the onions. Back to the heat, I'm adding about 2 tablespoons of my sherry. Just let that bubble a little. And this has a little bit of sweetness and some alcohol, so that's going to give you a nice flavor. Add that in there. And that's it really. So I just need to do this 2 more times and our parfait will be ready to blend. Okay, so before I let this cool down, I'm going to season it because I'm sure you noticed we didn't season while we were cooking. So to that, I'm going to add some salt, some black pepper, some sage, about a 1/4 teaspoon. Give that a stir. That looks good with the onions and the butter. I think that's just going to give it a round flavor, just comfort. It's been a while since I've had a parfait, so I'm looking forward to this. Yeah, just something comforting and smooth. So just give that a stir. Okay, so it's still quite warm. I'm going to let this cool down, hopefully 10 to 20 minutes, and I'll continue the process. Okay, so my liver mix is cooled down, or has cooled down I should say, and I'm going to spoon it in my food processor. I was reading through the recipe in the cookbook again, and I realized I made a mistake with the butter. I added too much for the frying because a little bit of the butter is also meant to go into the food processor. So if you watch this ahead of making the recipe, just an FYI. Yep, that's it. So I'm just going to roughly blitz this before I added my soft cheese. That looks, at least according to the cookbook, that looks about right. So now for the soft cheese. If you didn't do the incorrect thing like I did, you would also add the butter at this stage, about 1/3 or so of your butter. I don't think it matters, to be honest, because it's all going in. I just added mine prematurely. And this time I want to puree it. Yeah, looks about right. So, before I put this away, I'm going to taste it, make sure we have enough seasoning. Oh, that's nice. It's actually a little bit sweet as well. I'm guessing that's from the sherry and a little bit of the butter, but that's almost perfect. Just a little bit more salt. And I'll give that one more blitz. Perfect. And that's how it looks. According to the instructions in the book, you almost want to, not almost, but you want to slice your coffee cup. That's if it has that, if it's top heavy and just goes down into a slimmer shape. For me, I'm mostly happy with this because it's not really that top heavy, and I don't mind if it comes out slightly off cylinder in shape, if that makes sense. So what I'm going to do now is basically spoon parfait mix. Oh, I wish I blended this more, or you know, smooth enough. Yeah, so just pour that in. So I'm filling about 3 cups. So that's how 1 cup looks at the moment. So cover or lid on like I do. And we're going to pop these in the fridge, let them firm up for about at least 2 hours, better still overnight. We are not quite done yet. While our pate is resting and hardening in the fridge, we're just quickly going to make our sage, berry and plum sauce. Very, very quick to make, as you see, so let's hop on the stove. Okay, so I've got a small saucepan here and I've just turned it up to a medium-high heat. To that, I'm going to add about 284 grams of cranberry sauce. So I've measured that already. Just pouring that in. Red wine vinegar. Yep. And I've diced up in small cubes about 1/4 inch of 2 plums and 3 prunes. Just going to give that a little stir. Lastly, I'm going to add about 4 sprigs of sage, fresh sage. Just put it in there. I'm not quite sure how long that's meant to take, but I'm just going to keep an eye on this, and yeah, we'll see once it's ready. So it is time to plate our lovely pate. I have removed one from my freezer. I actually put one in the freezer the last hour just to rush the process. Hopefully it's worked. And what I'm going to do now is to basically tear it open. I believe the idea is for me to slice and make small cylinders. It is looking good so far. Just get a small, yeah, it's too loose. It's too loose. No, it's okay, we'll make the most out of it. Should still taste delicious. Just one on the side. Okay, I've got some diced and sliced chicory here for color and taste. So some red chicory, some green as well. We've also got some figs on the side, as well as some blackberries. And last but not least, our sauce. And there you have it. Okay, so now is the most exciting time for me as always, the tasting time. So I've got toasted bread, nice sliced bread there. I'm just going to spread some of the pate, very spreadable, which is good. And just a little bit of our sauce as well, to almost break that richness. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. It is a very good pate with a great sauce. I think the sauce is, yeah, very surprising. Because the sauce is even greater with the volume, or the texture I should say, with the cuts, prunes and plums in there as well. I would definitely recommend this. I'm sure it's going to go even better with the blackberries we have on here, with the figs as well. I'm just going to try as I talk. Yeah, this is, I'll say it's worth all the effort. Hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching. And if you're a fan of the show, yes, hit me in the comments. Let's talk some Hannibal. I'm going to try and go through as much of the recipes as I can. Obviously, there's some of the, should I say, more obscure recipes that I might not be able to quite replicate. Like there's lamb fries, which Hannibal serves at one of his dinner parties, which involves or requires lamb testicles. I don't think I can get that, so I'm going to skip that, but I'm going to make as much as I can. Thanks again for watching, and yeah, hit me in the comments. Who likes Hannibal? Take care.